The college football experience, college football best ball draft edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up today using that promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick or first time deposit offer up to $250 bonus in cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm's college football and NFL picks and projections are now live. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. And welcome everybody into the college football experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, a new edition of Best Ball Mania. First off, I am Moneyline Mac, aka the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. And joining me, no Pick Dundee here tonight, but we got the better Dant brother because we got the DFS god himself. I'm trying to remember your exact intro.
I don't know if I remember it.
The Herndon basketball MVP, NC Nick. What's up, man?
That's good enough, man. What's going on? How are we doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to fire off some best ball. We're trying out some new things over here at the college football experience. I'll yield to you because we were talking behind the scenes. We're waiting with college football being new to the underdog scene, that we're waiting for this draft to fill up so that we can start firing away on some picks. So hopefully this fills up in a timely fashion, so we're not just waiting here. But I'll let you take it away. Talk about just your overall strategy with playing best ball.
Yeah, so I guess before we do that, I guess we should go ahead and enter one of the contests. So then we officially, start the waiting process for it to fill up.
Yes.
And bear with us here. This is our first, college football best ball draft. If you listen to the main show, they do the NFL one. They're very well versed at doing it. We are not. So like I said, bear with us. Hopefully, as this gains popularity, we'll do more of these and become better at it. Ryan, have you entered yet?
I am hitting confirm now.
I'm going to jump in now myself. Enter. So right now it's called the tailgate. It is $3 entry. The $10 entry, it must have been filled up. You can up to have 20 entries max, $10,000 to the first place winner. Maybe that'll be one of us.
Hopefully one of us.
All right. So I jumped in and it says waiting for 4 people. Are you in yet, Ryan?
It's saying my location. It cannot be identified, which makes absolutely no sense because I'm on Wi-Fi. So bear with me. I'm playing with my Wi-Fi right now. In the meantime,
I'm going to hop out because I don't want the draft to start because it's down to 3. So I'm going to hop out now. My computer gave me a message where it wants to track my location, and you do have to track the location because Underdog, unfortunately, isn't quite available in all 50 states yet. Is it in Virginia?
I think it is.
I think so, right?
Yeah, because I've played Underdog before, so
Underdog is fantastic. I've played a lot of NFL best ball in the past. I've played a lot of college fantasy football, but this year, very new, is college football best ball. So I've already fired off, 8, 10 drafts or what have you. It's a lot of fun. It's fast and furious, 30 seconds a pick. It is super flex, so which means one of your flex positions can be a second quarterback. As far as strategy wise, I think in these contests you want to probably roster, I'd say, at least 4 quarterbacks. Remember, he's in. All right. Let me jump in now too. We got time this right here. Yeah, how many people you got? 3.
We got 3 people.
I'm
The
entering
old refresh,
now.
work. 2 people. There
Always
we go.
works. So we're waiting for 2. I see Rob Donaldson in the chat. Rob, feel
Yeah.
free to jump on in with us, man, if you're allowed to in your state. And we'll kind of go pick by pick. I mean, it's every 30 seconds, so we won't mention some of the picks not taken by myself or Ryan, but it should be fun. Where was I? It's a super flex. It is a half point PPR, so you get points for catches. Rob cannot join because it is not available in Iowa. What the hell? Come on, man.
But he said that the pick'em he can do in Iowa, but so best ball. I didn't realize that best ball and pick'em. So
There are so
you gotta
many.
get that VPN.
Yeah, seriously. There are so many dumb state laws, if you go from state to state. We do have a promo code for Underdog, right? TCESGPN.
Hey, I think that's a good transition. Let me hit the Underdog ad right now.
There we go.
Because on the college football, well, first off, go check out all 32 NFL team previews, and make sure you get the keyword, the code word, submit all 32 code word phrases, and you can be the lucky winner who gets $500 NFL Circus future bet. Hell, you can put it on the Iowa Hawkeyes, Rob Donaldson. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and in the SGPN app. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Hell, we're playing Underdog right now. College football, best ball mania. And Nick already plugged it. The code right above my head, TCESGPN. And you can claim your special pick and first time deposit. Offer up to $250 bonus in cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code TCESGPN. And we're also brought to you by Game Time. And if you want to get down and go to some games, Nick likes to go to App State. He goes to some games in the Carolinas there. I'm always bouncing around, whether in Morgantown or some of these Virginia schools. Well, hell, you got to get the Game Time app because, well, last thing you want to do is get to your seats and there's an obstructive view and you got a freaking pole in front of you. And it's like, well, shit, I paid an arm and a leg, empty the savings account out, and now you're broke, inflation's up, and you got no money to buy a beer. You don't want that. So here's what you need to do. You need to get the Game Time app and use our promo code CFBX so that you can see where your seats are and you can get the lowest prices last minute guaranteed. Download the Game Time app, last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed, code CFBX. All right, we're down to 1, Nick. We're down to 1.
I think, you know what? Knock on wood. I think we're timing this pretty good here, like a couple of professionals that we are.
I know. This is our biggest concern to pull back the curtain. We're like, we got to time up the draft with the show. So we saw 4 people in. We're down to 1 now. Even had a little bit of Wi-Fi, a little buffering issue. We battled through that, but hopefully we get this draft started here any second now. Nick, you got anything to add? Well, I know we.
I guess a couple things. So I think there's a total of 18,600 entries once this contest is full. So weeks 1 through 11 are the qualifier rounds, and then a certain percentage of the people who score the most total points that year will qualify into the quarterfinal week, which is week 12, the semifinals week, which is week 13, and then the championship week, which is week 14. In general, for folks that don't know, best ball is draft and forget it. There's no in-season roster moves. You don't have to scour the waiver wire. You don't have to try to rip your buddy off on via a trade. Basically, you have so many people on your roster, and the best players that perform the best that week get you that many points. I hope that makes sense. I think nowadays, I don't know, most D-gens are familiar with best ball, but certainly not all. Another bad thing is that people can also leave the draft. Now we're waiting on 3 people.
I know. We were down to fucking 1. I'm gonna throw this in the Discord too, so maybe we can
there we go.
Get a body or 2 in best ball.
Good idea.
Right now.
Yeah. I didn't knock on wood. So, I mean, you can rip off a bunch of these drafts. Like I find myself, if I'm just, I got nothing going on a weekend, there's the sports kind of suck. Like last Thursday night, I'm watching the NFL preseason game, but the game kind of sucks. So you know what? I'm doing a best ball draft while I'm doing it. They usually take 45 minutes, maybe an hour or so. So I find it to be a lot of fun, and college fantasy football in general is growing. Season long, DFS, best ball, you name it. College football fantasy is definitely growing, and we're here to talk about it.
Nick, let me ask you this. So we were down to 2, back to 3. With best ball now coming to college football, is this a reflection kind of on the growth of college football over the last 3, 4, 5 years now headed into the playoff era? There's a new level of excitement with gambling and just more weeknight games. Would you
100%.
say that's accurate?
100%, all the above. I mean, football is still by far the most popular sport in this country and the best sport to gamble on and to play fantasy on. So the excitement around the playoff and everything. I mean, everything is just going up and up and up, and that's why fantasy sports is on board as well.
Rob's got a question in the chat. He's partnered with Underdog Fantasy. Go check out Rob Donaldson's YouTube and Twitter page, X, whatever we're calling it now. He's not familiar with best ball. Is it just Power 5/Power 4, or is it every conference?
Very good question. Best ball just has P4 with the exception or the addition of Notre Dame, Washington State, and Oregon State. I think that's important because if you're looking at, maybe an Oregon State Beaver or a Washington State Cougar, well, they're basically still a power conference team, but they play a Mountain West schedule. So there might be some extra value in drafting a player on one of those teams because theoretically their schedule is going to be lighter than, say, a Big Ten school or a SEC school or something. And then Notre Dame also, I mean, everybody classifies them as a powerhouse team, but they also have a pretty easy schedule this year. So good point, good question. You'll find some fantasy leagues have every FBS team, but Underdog is just P4.
Great question, Rob. Anybody else got questions? Fire them off in the chat. I was going to ask you, Nick, how much do you Colby, Patty, CJ, I guess myself, I've done a couple previews with Colby. How much do you play the schedule game with Underdog? Because I mean, you want to catch some of these bad defenses, and it does suck that we don't have like the Fun Belt and MAC teams, because those are some of the most electric games on those weeknight games.
Well, that's the best thing about Underdog or best ball is that you don't have to try to pick and choose where you want to start guys. A lot of these big teams that they will play that FCS opponent early on, or in like week 13. If you're some of these, like Alabama will play like the Citadel right before the Auburn matchup. That's a good point too, is that you have to watch out for bye weeks. Bye weeks are tricky in college football because there's multiple bye weeks, and they're also late in the season. Like if you look at this year, there's 2 teams in week 13. Oregon and Washington have bye weeks in week 13. If you're fortunate enough to advance that far in these contests and you're in the final weekend or the semifinals, you're going to want your best people available. And if they're on bye, that certainly doesn't help. If there's still plenty of Oregon guys very valuable that you might want to draft, but if it's neck and neck and you're kind of deciding, do you want Dylan Gabriel or you want another quarterback, maybe you go to the other quarterback because they're playing in week 13. They don't have a bye week.
All great points. We're going in the wrong direction, by the way.
We were one person short.
I know. Ever since I put in the Discord, we've gone down somehow. So if anybody's tuning in, watching right now, get on over there, get the Underdog app downloaded. Use that promo code TCESGPN. You can get all the way up to $250, and they'll double that deposit. So we're waiting on 6 people to join now. We were at 1, now up to 6.
If people are, if I could interject, if people are familiar with NFL best ball on Underdog, it's so much more popular than college football. So these contests fill up quickly. So that's why it's maybe more suited for, a podcast that's supposed to be like an hour long or so. This was a little bit of a gamble doing the college football podcast just because we weren't sure how quickly this room was going to fill up. And we were close, but but now we're waiting on 6 more folks. I don't know. I mean, maybe we should go like kind of conference by conference and talk about some of the players we like from a fantasy perspective, and maybe we'll be able to talk about a draft. Maybe we won't.
I agree with that. Let's you're the ACC guru. You live in Tobacco Road. Let's start in that ACC. Biggest position strength in your opinion? And what are some of the guys you're eyeing headed into the 24 season?
I guess to structure it, maybe we start with quarterback. The ACC quarterbacks this year, there's some familiar faces and there's some new faces. And I guess you start off with, I think, who was the most expensive guy or who got paid the most in the portal, and that is Miami's quarterback Cam Ward. Coming over from Wazoo via Incarnate Word, I believe that was the FCS team. He crushed it. 2 years ago? Last year he was pretty good. Last year Wazoo went through some like mid-season struggles where some of his stats dipped, but on paper the Miami team looks really good, and they had a very good passing attack last year. And you would think with some of those weapons at receiver and running back, the Miami offense is still going to be very good.
Yeah, I like Cam Ward. Is there what's your thoughts on DJU in a new system? He's not really he doesn't really strike me as though a best ball guy. He's more of a kind of game manager in a way.
Yeah, I think I would tend to agree. Florida State's receivers are very young. They just had Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson get drafted. Their tight end, Jaheim Bell, just got drafted. The Florida State offense in general is not going to look like they did last year with Jordan Travis at quarterback. He's not necessarily on my radar. I mean, I do recommend drafting at least probably 4 to 6 quarterbacks in these best ball drafts. So once you're getting pretty far down the line, I don't think it hurts to take him as maybe your 4th guy or your 5th guy or something. But if you look at the quarterback rankings, he is pretty far down because he is kind of a game manager, and people don't know what to expect from that Seminole offense.
Any guys sleepers? I mean, you're in the Carolinas. What's your thoughts on Grayson McCall going from Coastal to NC State? The pussy pack, as Colby would say.
Speaking of offenses, I think the NC State offense, opposite from Florida State, I think they're going to be a lot better this year. They brought in McCall, who's going to be a much better quarterback than Brennan Armstrong was. Excuse me. They brought in Jordan Waters, the running back from Duke, who's their running game was abysmal last year. And Casey Conception was a 3-star freshman who crushed it at receiver for them last year. But they're also bringing in Noah Rogers from Ohio State, who, and I've heard just, in fall camp, he's looking really good. So I think this offense is going to fly. Grayson McCall's dual threat. He can run, he can pass. I think he is intriguing, especially if you're planning to kind of wait on quarterback. So I like him, and then there's some other guys too. I know our guy Ryan Kramer, Real Money, is a big drone strike guy. Kyron Drones at Virginia Tech, another dual threat quarterback. I think he's appealing. As far as a sleeper, I'd say, and I guess, for fantasy points, I mean, he might not even be a sleeper, but Haynes King, the Georgia Tech quarterback. The Texas A&M transfer, year 2 in that offense. He ran for like 750 yards last year. I think people are kind of surprised by his rushing abilities. And Georgia Tech looks like they could do some things offensively.
It's good to see guys that kind of get pushed out and then land on their feet in a new system. And he had an underrated year, and I think that's why we have decent expectations for the Yellow Jackets this year with the lot coming back. All right, I'm the Big 12 guy. I am more than happy to pound my chest with the Big 12. Would you agree with me as a non-biased Big 12 guy that the depth in the quarterback position is at its best in the Big 12? I mean, there's a lot of guys in the Big 12 that you can make the case for as the top guy in this league.
Yeah, certainly. It's almost like the Pac-12 last year, where I
Yeah.
don't know if they'll have guys get drafted quite as high, but they might have some of them. Now it does help that the three of the four teams you brought over have very good quarterbacks. You know,
Mhm.
Shadur Sanders, Cam Rising, finally healthy, and Noah Fafita. So I mean, you guys, I mean, the Big 12 had good quarterback play as it was, and then to add those three teams. I don't know what's going on at Arizona State. They're going to struggle this year. Their quarterback's not on fantasy radars, but Rocco Beck from Iowa State played well last year. Your guy Garrett Green. I mean, let's see where Garrett Green is rated on quarterbacks
He's
here.
eighth. He's eighth, or he's third quarter. He's behind Gabriel and Milrow for Underdog, but it kind of just speaks to his dual threat ability. Him and Avery Johnson at K-State and KJ Jefferson at UCF. Those three are the big dual threat guys in this league.
I swear, Garrett Green, the third highest drafted quarterback. Is that Pat White back there? Who is that? Jeez.
I told you I've been playing a little bit of Underdog. I've been inflated these at Garrett Green rankings, baby. But
they're not inflated because look at what he does. You know, do you have his stats handy from last year? I mean, I could probably pull them up here, but running the ball, I think did he have like 8 or 9 rushing touchdowns last year? I want to say.
Yeah, he had about 3,000, I think just under 3,000 yards combined passing and throwing, and then 25 touchdowns, but whether throwing or rushing. So he's a true dual threat guy, kind of what we're projecting with Avery Johnson. Do you agree with me that he's the highest upside guy? I know he's young.
Oh man, Avery. So I just drafted him in our SGP season long regular fantasy draft. He was my top quarterback target. It's a little bit of a gamble because he didn't play a whole lot last year. I think he started one game and then played portions of maybe 4 or 5 games. But I saw him against NC State in the bowl game and he looked really good. His sky is, I think he's the highest ranked recruit ever for Kansas State. So yeah, he's very good. And like Rob says in the chat, Jalen Daniels, Kansas, if he's healthy, I mean, he could put up monster numbers. KJ Jefferson for UCF, the Arkansas transfer. Who are we forgetting about here? Then there's like rock solid guys like Alan Bowman, who's been around forever.
Oh, he's like 30 years old. Daniels might be the best out of all of them. That's what's intriguing. If you had to say your top guy, would you lean to Milrow or Gabriel? It's hard to say with Gabriel because we haven't seen him in the Oregon system yet.
I would draft Gabriel first.
Okay.
Because the Oregon brought back so much offensively. That offense is just going to go from day one. You saw what Bo Nix did last couple of years. I think Milrow's the bigger question mark. I mean, even though both guys have new systems, new head coaches, we haven't seen Milrow in a system that wants to be pass heavy. Let's face it, he has struggled sometimes to pass the ball. His accuracy, so I think there's bigger question marks around Milrow. So I would go Gabriel first.
Okay.
What do you think of the Tennessee guy?
Nico?
Yama Lieva?
Yeah, I can tell you, I'm not calling him that this year. I'm not butchering that name. It's like DJ. It's like DJ is his name, and then his name is Nico. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of he's got great upside, but he's young. So I'm one of those guys, especially in college football. I got to see it. I got to see it for a year. I know you get the freaks every now and then. Oh, hello. Did we just start?
Draft has started in 60 seconds, so the room is full. Not to cut you off. I kind of agree.
Who's this guy?
I just got done with Memphis, and I was like, how do I enter the draft?
Are you in?
No, I didn't get in.
Oh, we just been spitballing for 24 minutes on some guys we liked, and then as soon as you got in, the draft started. Everybody picked Dundee.
I'm sorry. I'm hijacking the set here just because I saw you guys were live. I got done with Memphis, and I said, hey, what do we do? What are we talking about here?
Not a problem. So right now, the draft starts in 20 seconds. I'm at pick 6, and Ryan is at pick 7. So we're back to back, right smack dab in the middle. To finish your thought on Nico, the Tennessee quarterback, I kind of agree. I think right now he's a 6th rated quarterback. I think it's way too high. there's depth at quarterback, across college football. I'm not taking him that early.
You know what's best about picking right behind you is I'll get to hear your thoughts, and then I'll just pick who you decide not to pick. Well, damn! I wish we could have got you in because we were sitting here like a bunch of dumbasses.
Who can we kick out? Who can we kick out? I'm joking.
Dude, we were down to 2 people, and then it went up to 6, and we're like, "Oh, this backfired."
Well, I would have committed, but I wasn't sure when this Memphis one was going to end, or if like you never know if everyone will be on time. So it's like,
yeah.
But yeah, I guess I can still sit here and
Yeah, you can offer your opinion on draft picks. Yeah. Number 1 pick is the Olive Garden, Ollie Gordon. Everybody's taken him first pick overall in every draft I've ever seen.
I would not take him number 1.
No. Who would you take?
Well, just because you have the suspension thing, which it seems like he's not going to be suspended, but you never know. And then I also think I feel like Oklahoma State, when they're a ton of hype there, I just feel like let me distance myself a little bit. Now, I would love Oklahoma State to win the Big 12. I think it'd be great if they got in before Oklahoma. Me and Mac were texting back and forth about this. But I would take some other guys before Ollie Gordon, just because I feel like with a target on them, and I also think that some of those defenses will be better than they were a season ago. The fact they play Utah and Kansas State on the schedule, I think, those are better run defense teams than last season. They had a cakewalk schedule. I don't know if you guys talked about that yet, but they definitely played they got all 4 newcomers, and all 4 newcomers struggled at run defense. So I just think getting some of those other teams where the schedule is just much harder. Even the non-con, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with South Dakota State and Arkansas and Tulsa. At Tulsa. Yeah.
Yep.
So I would not take him number 1. I mean, he'd probably well worthy of a first round selection, but I would. I
think he's the safest pick though. I think running backs aren't as deep as receivers and quarterbacks. So if you get in the first couple rounds, I think it's smart to take one like true bell cow.
Call me crazy. Do you think Devin Neal? I think Devin Neal is one that could put up better numbers than Ollie Gordon this year.
Well, especially if Daniels gets banged up again, they're going to lean more on the run.
I think the problem is that Hishal or however you pronounce that name, he's there too, so he's going to get carries and really, what's his name? Ollie Gordon is there by himself. But to get you guys up with my pick in the 6th overall, I took Hampton, the running back from North Carolina. I think he had about 1,500 yards last year. He is a true bell cow. And then Moneyline Mac, big surprise. Who'd you take?
Garrett Green, baby. The most underrated quarterback in America. We were just talking about Colby. From an underdog standpoint, he's right behind Milroe and Gabriel because of his dual threat capability.
Well, I think we talked about this on the West Virginia preview, but I feel like no one ever mentions him, and he's just a guy that he's a gritty quarterback. I like him. I think it might not be sexy, but he's just a winner in my mind. So I like the way he plays, and I think there's some value to that pick, man. I think, I will say once again, you're taking a team that has a really hard schedule. Yeah. One of the things in fantasy that I always try to do is try to look for who's got the easy schedules. Like, last year, I think me and Nick were spot on with we thought SMU's schedule was incredibly easy, and I think me and you, Mac, were on Oklahoma State to make the Big 12 championship because of how easy the schedule is. So it's a blend of both. Can you find the great players, but can you also find the great schedules?
Yeah.
No, absolutely, and especially with this expanded freaking conferences where there's 18 damn teams in the Big 10, and we need to get a couple Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by that development there of part of me thinks USC will struggle. Part of me thinks USC can be great in the conference because I'm like, wait, no one's going to be able to. And if they, get up, like Patty C said, if they go up like 21-0, half the Big 10 teams can't score 21 points in a game. I don't care if they're playing Eastern Illinois. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, if that happens, that game is a wrap. But yeah,
I like the pick by Ryan there, going Edwards, the running back for Michigan. I mean, you have to think that
they're going to run it.
They're going to run the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with their rival. I'm going to draft the. What team has been really good at fielding good wide receivers lately? It is the Ohio State Buckeyes. If I can make this pick, hold on, why is it not working? Draft this guy.
Can you send me a link where I can watch this, or is that is this exclusive?
It is exclusive. And I was trying to draft him, and it failed. My screen was too small, so I took KJ Jefferson instead.
That's not a bad pick.
Blessing in disguise.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, actually. I kind of wanted to wait at quarterback, but I'll take it. I'll live with that.
I think that's a great blessing in disguise. I mean, providing he stays healthy, I think he could have a monster year.
Yeah, talking about like a 6-year senior. I mean, yeah, he really should.
He's got to stay healthy though. He did get dinged up some of those years at Arkansas, because they ran him heavy. I think it was 2 years ago. But yeah, that would be. I think you because another thing is like, is Ohio State gonna? How accurate is Will Howard? Now they just might be open just because they're so good, but
scheme them up.
Yeah.
So where are we at draft wise? We're getting a quarterback run here, Nick. It looks like.
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing I got Jefferson, but I've been kind of practicing waiting on quarterbacks just because I think it's so deep this year, and especially if I can draft like 5 of them, then I feel like chances are a couple of them are going to have a pretty good week, week in, week out. But I mean, if you take one of these top quarterbacks, there's nothing wrong with that either.
I almost went Avery Johnson or KJ Jefferson, but I wanted to get the Edwards from Michigan. So I don't know, Nick. Do you value wide receivers or running backs more? That's always a fantasy discussion.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little old school where I just think there's fewer for sure things at running back. So I want to come out of the first couple of rounds with one major running back, and then I think I can fill out receivers late. A little bit later on. So I think receivers are now more valuable in the NFL. I'm not sure about college football just yet.
Colby, what do you think?
Say it one more time. Sorry.
Running backs versus wide receivers in the college game.
I think to me, I think there's more volume in you find out running backs later. Like sometimes these guys just emerge. What was the kid? Rasheen Ali wasn't he like a backup to start the season 2 years ago? He led the league, led the country in rushing. I mean, I like having the bell cow, and I kind of think what's great about fantasy is that the season's going to solve ones that it's not like the NFL where
of course in baseball though, there's no midseason move. So, you can't do that. So I know you missed early on, Colby. This is just Power 4 here. Power 4, Notre Dame, Wazoo, and Oregon State, and there's no midseason. They didn't put
East Carolina in there.
No, I'm sorry.
No.
I'm out of here.
That's why you didn't make the draft.
have a fucking good one, guys.
So guys, I just did something very interesting. I'm high on UCF this year. I did a running back quarterback stack. I just took RJ Harvey to pair with KJ Jefferson. Am I crazy?
No.
You like the bounce house, baby.
I've been an RJ Harvey fan for years now. Who was the running back they had above him 2 years ago?
Richardson, right? Richardson.
Yeah, Richardson, and then there was another bigger guy. Bowser, was that his name?
Yeah, the Northwestern transfer.
Yeah, and I was like, play RJ Harvey. Yeah. He's so much better than these guys. Finally, he's getting the lion's share of the carries there.
Okay, so wait, back to what you asked me though. So now that I know this, because I'm coming in blind here, would I rather have a running back than a quarterback or than a wide receiver? I mean, I think only Power 5, but there's so many goddamn Power 5 teams now. It's like, what is it? 70 teams? I think I'd rather draft a running back first and find the receivers out because some emerge, and there's just so many there's so many. Some of these air raid teams, like 4 or 5 receivers putting up pretty decent stats.
I think the other thing too, if you can get the stud running back there's more blowouts in college football with the tiers like the Ohio States and Michigans, where they're going to just lean on their running backs and bleed the clock. So if you can get those top tier running backs, they're going to get their work, get in and out. And there's the depth of the receiver position. I think with just our guy Mike Leach, I think he's more and more evolved the game of football, more spread offenses, more air raid. More kids play wide receiver growing up, in my opinion. Before they get to college.
Well, you certainly don't have, and that's just the thing in general in football, where you just don't have as many bell cows as you used to because the money. The NFL don't take you in the first round like before. You would OJ Simpson first pick, like everyone's taken. Ricky Williams. They trade the whole goddamn draft for Ricky Williams. You know what I mean? Like one of the better moments in NFL draft history.
Ryan, do you want to talk about Quinshon Judkins, your fourth or your third round draft pick?
Yeah, I know it's a 1-2 punch in that backfield, but I just know that the carries are going to be there for him with Chip Kelly calling plays. He likes to run the ball, so I'm going Ohio State and Michigan in the backfield, and I like you. Wait, no, you're behind me. I like this pick because of the boom bust. Boom meaning Heisman candidate, bust meaning injury prone. I took Jalen Daniels from Kansas.
There we go. This hurts. The last two picks are guys I wanted. Eugene Trey Wilson, the wide receiver from Florida. I was about to scoop him up. Then he goes. Jalen Daniels goes. Now I'm on the clock. I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here. I don't want to take I think the receivers here, there's a drop off. I don't feel comfortable with any of these guys. I'm going to take another running back, actually. Cole, we talk about easy schedules. How about our Rutgers Scarlet Knights? I'm going to go Kyle Monangai.
I love that.
And the Big Ten normally has great defenses, but not that many on their schedule. That schedule was incredible. And another thing is Rutgers has to lean on him because it's not like the Greek pellet gun is going to be lighting up, the stat sheet. He'll be winning games with a cool $145 in the passing ranks.
That would be an improvement over last year.
No, I like that pick. Yeah.
Speaking of best ball, I got if anybody's got a break right now, go check out VSiN. Kramer's on VSiN right now. I got that on the background. So Mr. Best Ball himself.
He just called me. Like I was wrapping up the Memphis show and he was calling me. The only thing I can think of was I know he's doing their that bet show with Tim Murray from VSiN and there's a college football analyst and Bud Elliott and stuff. So my assumption was, hey, talk to these guys. But yeah, that's good to see. Get on over to VSiN, check them out too.
Yeah,
same time. Let's go.
Go check out these sickos doing best ball for college football. Let's go.
Hey, I see 101 people in here. That's good.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So through the first 4 rounds, I got a quarterback and 3 running backs. I desperately need to balance out my roster here. I need some receivers. This is crazy.
What are you, a service academy over there? What's going on? I got the triple option.
Bring out the flex boat.
Where are we at draft wise?
We got 5 picks away. We're coming down to the first pick in the 5th round.
Hey Nick, we may have found Colby's favorite overlock of the college football season late last night, and they're not on this. They're not on this bullshit. Maybe one day they will be. UConn. Go check out UConn's schedule, everybody.
Dude, I actually think they could have a magical year. Like it's possible. Like you can actually see a path. Before you couldn't see that, but I do feel very good about that over. I mean, like the Iowa over, but that number's moved. Since our Iowa. We move lines on the college football experience because the Iowa preview, that shit has moved some. But UConn smash that right now, folks. And go listen to the episode. Not right now, of course, but later. Yeah.
Do it in about an hour. We approaching. Nick, I see this guy down there. I'm going to ask you about him. I don't know if you're going to pick him. Your former quarterback. Now with the Fighting Irish. What are your thoughts? I mean,
first, before we do that, I need to make a draft pick here. I need a receiver. Hold that thought here. I'm going to take a gamble here. Go Kyron Lacey with LSU. I mean, Neighbors is gone. Who's the other guy gone that was drafted by the Jaguars? Yeah, Brian Thomas is gone. Yeah. Nussmeier is going to throw for a lot of yards. He's got to throw to somebody. I'm hoping it's going to be Lacey. A little bit of a gamble, but my first receiver is now rostered.
I'm going to go right behind you with the receiver. I'm going to say in the Big 12. I'll go with Jaden Higgins from the Cyclones. He had about 1,000 yards last year coming over from EKU. Him and Rocco Becht in year number 2 together.
All right, so Riley Leonard, I like him. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I don't know if the Notre Dame quarterback is going to put up crazy stats, though.
They got Denbrock, the LSU offensive coordinator, but you saw that their left tackle's out for the season just the other day.
Yeah, yeah. There was another injury news. A buddy just texted me right before the draft started. CJ Baxter is injured with the Texas running back. So,
so then load up on what, Blue? Is it Blue?
Now, I think Blue. Yeah, I think so. Now I don't know the severity. I don't know anything. I just got a text, but I didn't draft him in this draft, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
kind of surprised Ryan didn't go Jaheim White because that dude showed potential, man.
It's my only thing I'm a little concerned about is he's a sophomore, and sometimes you see the sophomore like CJ Donaldson had the hype last year from the freshman to sophomore. Now Jaheim's got it.
Oh, the sophomore slump's a real thing. That's a real thing,
no doubt. So
usually that's like quarterback related, but I mean Donaldson's still there too, so they are going to split carries. But that guy, when you watched the West Virginia game last year, you're like, who the hell is this dude?
Yeah, Riley Leonard though is the schedule play.
That's a good point.
The schedule is charming soft there, but anyway, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Ryan.
No. I was just alluding to what Nick said. It's White's going to get enough carries. So yeah, it's well, because we didn't really see Hartman really elevate his game when going over to Notre Dame. I mean, he was solid. He was a good quarterback, but he also was just good at Wake as well.
And he didn't really have that many good options on the outside last year. And
that's been a problem for Notre Dame for 20 years, 30 years. Since like I understand they had Chase Claypool and Will Fuller, but I'm saying or Will Fuller, not Will Fuller, but if you know who that is, folks. They don't. When's the last time me and Nick watched Notre Dame? Our oldest brother was a diehard Notre Dame fan. When they had fucking Tim Brown and Rocket Ishmael and Derek Mays, they had great college wideouts, and I feel like they haven't had great college wideouts in a lot. Even Chase Claypool to me was he was decent, but in college he wasn't lighting it up.
You know who I really liked and actually ended up playing Major League Baseball was Samardzija.
Yeah,
the white dude, but that still goes back.
That's still Charlie Weiss. Yeah, Charlie Weiss era.
Oh, Kyle Williams from Washington State just got drafted.
I was about to take him.
He's a baller, and like I said, Washington State has a Mountain West schedule here. So man,
I'll take another productive old Big 12 wide receiver. I'll take Owens from Oklahoma State. Year 2 with Bowman. He's been there 4 years. He stays healthy. I think he'll have another good year. I mean, just a solid pick.
No, fucking, we're getting crazy here. I'm going to be the biggest UCF fan this year. I'm drafting Kobe Hudson here.
I love it.
A more traditional quarterback receiver stack. So I got the running back, the quarterback, the top wideout. Let's go, the very Golden Knights.
I'm bullish on them, man. Yeah, I am bullish on UCF, man. I think that they could very well end up in the Big 12 championship.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not a conspiracy theories guy when it comes to schedule, but it does seem a little fishy that it's Utah, UCF the last week of the year, and Iowa State, K-State. I think they kind of are telling you those 4 teams kind of too playing it.
Well, at least Iowa State, K-State should be or Kansas State. The other one kind of makes no sense. You're like, huh?
I know. It was like when West Virginia, Oklahoma with Will Grier and Kyler Murray that one year. It was randomly the last week of the year, and it was both in the top 10 for a spot in the Big 12 title. So it might a little fishy there. Where are we at in this draft? Speaking of which, go check out Ryan and Rush show. We had a Utah Utes fan on earlier, insider. She says 10-2.
Well, here's the thing is, and I think that's somewhat decent there, because the one thing I can never trust about, like, Utah's probably the best team in the conference, like on paper and with Whittingham, but they always on the road drop one or two, like Stanford for a minute there after Harbaugh, when it was David Shaw. I feel like Stanford would fuck with them. Arizona State would fuck with them. They always, Oregon State would get them a lot in Corvallis. If they have to go to Corvallis, you knew that was a loss. But yeah, I mean, 10-2 sounds right to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great coach. I think they're going to lose in Stillwater. That's their first Big 12 road game. So I mean, that's kind of a hard place to draw to start a new league, and you're going against Gundy, who's been there 20 years, like Whittingham. So we shall see.
I can see
it. Colby, I'm curious as to, oh my God, I got the pick before me again. Zachariah Branch is gone. I was about to grab him up. I thought he might have a big year. All right, I'm going to pivot here. Let's go to the ACC for the quarterback. How about Press Stone? The Stone Age in Dallas. Preston Stone, second year in the system. I think he's going to throw for a shit ton of yards.
Well, for a guy that's on the under with SMU, that's interesting. Go listen to the SMU preview, folks. No, but that they will put up stats. I mean, the schedule's nice for them, in my opinion, even though I'm not the biggest fan. Yeah.
I've been robbed the last 2 rounds with guys I was just about to take.
Luke Lackey from Iowa. The tight end
Lachey. Yeah.
I can't pronounce names.
Damn it, Ryan, you're wearing a Redskins shirt. His dad's Jim Lachey, the old tackle from the early 90s.
He wasn't alive then.
I know the name, though. I know Lachey, but I didn't know that was his son. Oh, I'm all in. Let's go.
Yeah. He's going to be a stud.
Throw the ball more this year. So they're going to throw it to the tight end. They're not throwing it to wide receivers.
Well, he got hurt, I think, week 1 last year.
Dude, he was a projected first-round draft pick. First-round draft pick last year. And obviously coming back, but both their tight ends are studs, man. I actually think, like, shout out to Rob Donaldson in the chat. I know he's an Iowa fan.
Yeah, he's.
I think Tim Lester was an underrated hire. And, dude, you let that offense just do a little bit, they could fuck up some teams, man. I think they actually have a legit, not only a shot to, I hate that Big Ten game there in Indianapolis in the championship there, at Lucas Oil, but I think they can really fuck up some teams, man. Like, I think they're a more complete football team than people realize.
Yeah, it's, I mean, they're going to air it out a little bit more. Get Lachey involved. I mean, it's tight end at Iowa. I mean, they've put guys into the pros left and right over the last 10 years.
Mac, you remember when Pitt won the ACC, right?
Yeah, that stupid pig slide. Yeah.
Yeah, you were vomiting for weeks, but
I didn't watch that game. I turned that shit off. I said, connection's broken. Wi-Fi's out.
But dude, one of their only losses that year was when Tim Lester and Western Michigan put up like 49 at Heinz.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The guy can move the ball. Like, he can move the ball. I think that hire's going to work.
Yeah, that was wild that they went up to Pitt's best year, and Narduzzi's a defensive guy too. So for Western Michigan to go up there, move the ball the way they did, and open it up, I mean, that was impressive. So yeah, hopefully Iowa could score the ball a little bit. We don't need 24. 24 is the target number. I think that they had the right idea. 24 points would be fucking 11-1 every year.
Yeah, that defense returns, dude. They are flying. They're still, even though the numbers moved, they're still flying under the radar to me. Like, when I evaluate all these teams, I feel like, as far as like complete, which I think I'm basing it off of Tim Lester, because I think their quarterback, obviously he's one of the only quarterbacks that still playing college football that's played in a playoff game or started a playoff game. They just have, to me, with those tight ends healthy, I think they're one of the more complete teams as far as, like, you're searching for a weakness. What's crazy is I think Ohio State has more of a weakness than Iowa does.
Yeah.
In their passing, right? So I think, I mean, I still would favor Ohio State if because they're playing Iowa, but I just think there's a bigger question mark on that than, to me, Tim Lester putting up points.
Colby, I just drafted a guy I know you're high on. Tell the listeners about Chris Bell from Louisville.
Oh, I mean,
He's
well,
good.
you always want wide receivers in Jeff Brom's offense. You go back to when he was at Western Kentucky, go back to the slew of receivers. Who was the guy that got kicked off the team that was that David Bell? That got kicked off the team just because he didn't make grades at Purdue? Well, Louisville.
Well, they had Bell and they had the other guy that's Rondell Moore, drafted by the Cardinals.
Yeah, so, but Rondell Moore emerged because this dude was suspended, kicked off the team or whatever. I think it was David Bell. I think Chris Bell. I wonder if there's any relation. I think he's going to have a monster year. I know they brought in Ja'Cory Brooks also from Alabama, and they have been recruiting well, and they brought in a few other transfers too. But
I thought Bell flashed last year. He's a big body guy, good red zone target. Jamar
I think he's their number one. I think he's their number one this year. I drafted him in our fantasy league because I think I think this offense this year's that Louisville team is better this year. That they might not make the ACC championship. I think they will personally, but if they don't, I still think this year's Louisville team is better as a football team from a talent perspective than last year's. And Bell and them, I think Bell will have a huge year. Shuck's got to stay healthy. That's the only concern, because Shuck has gotten injured doing everything in life.
Yeah, that derailed the Texas Tech season last year.
Yeah, they were better than their record last year. Texas Tech was.
I saw Ryan go after one of the Bama running backs. Was that Haynes?
Yeah, he's highly touted. Fresh legs. I mean, he only had 30 carries last year, so I think. I mean, when you take a flyer on one of these guys later in the draft, Bama, Georgia, you know that they're highly talented, and if they get a increased workload in their second year, they could pop.
Rob in the chat, TJ Sheffield, that was last season. Sheffield's now at UConn, by the way, part of that UConn preview. But no, I'm talking like 3 years ago, the preseason, the Big Ten preseason, like first team or second team wideout. I thought it was David Bell.
David Bell's the guy that got drafted by the Browns. I think he's still on the Browns, but I wasn't sure if he's the one that got suspended or not. I'm not positive.
I love the dude I just took, by the way. Kinner from Cincinnati.
I was thinking about it. He's a baller.
Yeah. And since he's got all those offensive linemen back.
Yeah,
I just drafted my tight end RJ Maryland, so I'm stacking him with Preston Stone. So apparently, even though I don't like SMU to go over their win total, hopefully they can score some points.
You're all in on SMU and UCF. You're back in the American.
I'm G5 at heart.
This has been fantastic. This is
isn't it fast and furious? I mean, especially when you have to do a podcast at the same time, I'm like scrambling here.
Yeah. I think we lost Colby. I wish they had the G5 guys in there. I wish, but I mean, it'll come. We're early in this.
I mean, the player pool would be so deep for just 12 teams, but it would be fun. So our roster construction so far, how are you looking? I got 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 3 receivers, and a tight end.
I got 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs. I'm loading up on the running backs, 2 wide receivers, and 1 tight end. I need a wide receiver here again.
Let's see who's out there. You got Will Shepard.
What's the recommended roster breakdown?
I've seen 6-6-6-2. That's been thrown out there as the best strategy. I think as long as you're kind of somewhere in that ballpark, that's 6 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 6 receivers, 2 tight ends. I think as long as you're kind of somewhere near there, maybe 5 of one, 7 of the other, something like that. I think that's probably kind of what you want to go after.
This one guy's got 5 wide receivers.
Ooh,
2 guys.
Going air raid.
Yeah.
Receivers right now, Jalen Knoll at Iowa State, Will Shepard, the Vandy transfer at Colorado's out there. None of those guys. I don't love it.
There's just so many wideouts there. I think if you're going to take one for Colorado, you go LeJohntay Wester.
Or you know who you can get really late? I've been doing it in some of these drafts is Jimmy Horn.
Yeah. It was Milton Wright. You're right, Rob. It was Milton Wright.
Rob.
Yeah. Well, he said Sheffield. It wasn't Sheffield, but it was right. Anyway,
Money Mac on the clock. Let's see. He's deep in thought over here.
I know. I'm like,
he needs a receiver.
I do need a receiver, but I already have an Iowa State guy. Let's go with the buff, Will Shepherd.
I mean, it could be. He was good last season. There's just a lot of cooks in the kitchen there, man.
Yeah, I mean he's got a good quarterback. If they can hold up on the O line, he's a veteran guy. I mean, what did he finish with? He was at Vandy. Yeah, he was productive.
Well, no, he's a good wideout, I think, but it's just Jimmy Horn, Travis Hunter, LeJohntay Wester, and him. It's like it's a lot. It's a lot, and Miller, the freshman last season.
I just grabbed my guy, Duke transfer Jordan Waters, going over to NC State. I've been telling Colby, I think he's in for a big year. He's a baller.
600 yards, big year. Right?
You love NC State.
They put a lot of running backs in the pros, right? T.A. McClendon had a great pro career, Nick.
With Naeem Hines, is he still in the Colts? Your guy on the Birmingham Stallions, Ricky Person Jr. They got some running backs here.
Just no CJ Johnson or Ernest Biner. You know, I mean, we can go on and on and on. Jarris McPhail. We can go further. We can go further if you want. But yeah, you go with your pussy pack guys. All right.
Where are we at? Ooh, this Uman guy, I think has multiple. Or no, he's at the end. That's why he's back to back. I was like, how the hell's he picking two at one time?
There's a couple guys on the board here. A receiver I'm eyeing, and I can say because Ryan's behind me. Colby, what are your thoughts on Elijah Surratt, the JMU transfer now at Indiana?
I like it. I think Indiana is going to be better than people think. And
he was such a baller last year, man.
Yeah.
That dude was so good last year.
And they don't play the Big Ten East, which is a win. And
always a gamble going from the Sun Belt to the Big Ten, but all right, he's there for me. He's mine. Boom.
I mean, JMU kind of played like a Big Ten team.
Well, they were better than 3 or 4 Big Ten teams last year.
True, but they were just massive. I was super impressed with them on the line of scrimmage. The fact that from the FCS to the FBS, I thought they might have made the transition on the line of scrimmage better than Georgia Southern and App State on the line of scrimmage.
Moneyline Mac in the club. Cade Klubnik. I like it.
Klubnik, baby. Year 2 of the Riley system. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he takes a jump. I mean,
he could.
We've been waiting for him. We've been waiting for him to take that jump for sure.
Honestly, the quarterback's position is looking a little weak right now. I need a couple more guys here, and I don't blame you for taking him.
You don't want Sorsby?
Who do you got out there? Shoot.
You got Josh Hoover, Rocco Beck, Daquan Finn, Brandon Sorsby. You got a bunch of Big 12 guys.
I think Hoover will probably put up
right now.
Hoover will probably put up big yards.
He can move. He can move too. Yeah, and he's in Sonny Dykes' system.
Got Aiden Childs out there. He's still a question mark, unknown.
I think he's going to be great, but I just don't know it'll be this year. I think if you're playing keeper league, I still think this year he'll surprise. He's good.
Drew Allard, what are your thoughts on him?
No, not there. Not there. Check down.
What about Curtis Rourke? I did just take the IU receiver. Of course, I don't want all these stacks on like SMU. Indiana.
I think Hoover will put up better stats than those guys.
Somebody took Hoover. God damn it.
What else? What other QBs?
Another Big 12 guy. What about Morton for Texas Tech?
If he stays healthy, the question is though, is that
none of the guys stay healthy at Tech?
Well, they said something weird too about like the way they said something like they hired a second doctor to look at his arm, and it's like if you read between the lines there, you're like, what does that mean? That he might not be ready for the season, or
one doctor's too many? One doctor's too many.
What are your thoughts on the Stanford passing attack this year, Colby? We know that guy Taylor wants to sling the rock.
Yep. I like it. I like Bachmeier's little brother is the better Bachmeier, and
he plays what, tight end or receiver for him?
Yeah, he's a massive target for them. And then I actually, that's a good play. Is taking, what's his name? I'm drawing
Ashton Daniels.
Yeah. I like that play. I think that's a good play.
Well, Moneyline Mac is before me. He might take him.
I think I like this pick right here. Where'd he go? Oh no, he just took him. I was going to take Delp from Georgia. Damn it.
There's another tight end transferred into Georgia too, though. I'm kind of worried about who's
from Stanford. You're
yeah. I'm kind of worried about. I don't know if there's going to be like either one of them is going to be Brock Bowers.
Oh, I didn't see LJ Martin for BYU still on the board. I took LJ Martin.
All right, Colby. I'm taking Ashton Daniels. Usually, I don't like to take guys named Ashton.
They're gonna put up yards, dude. I mean, Stanford quarterbacks. That's one like consistent in life. Stanford quarterbacks will put up points.
Them in TCU week 1's gonna be electric on a Friday night.
Dude, that spread's too big. Stanford's gonna play that close, man.
The only thing that could concern you is they both are gonna play no defense.
I know. No, take the over. But I'm just saying, like that line, that's at like double digits, right? It's at like 10 or 11, right?
I think it's 9.5 now.
I think it went down then because when I remember like they brought back, I think CJ when he did his the Bet Detective, when he did his trip to Vegas, he brought back these papers from the sports book that had the lines on all week 1. And I'm like, I think it was 10.5 or 11. And I was like, what? I'm like, Stanford can score. And TCU's defense was ass last year. So I would lean points.
That's got like 52-48 written all over. That's going to be
a good game. Oh, yeah.
Well, Big 12 ACC action. I always forget Stanford's in the ACC now.
It's crazy times.
Did you guys know that we are a Cal Golden Bears podcast?
Man, I saw that reaction. Jeez.
I was telling Mac this last night. I know, Nick, you keyed in on it. You know, sometimes, look, it's like me. Clearly, I'm the best looking Dant, and sometimes you get brought down by, your brothers. A lot of people think Cal has a horrible fan base. Not true. They actually have they get brought down by the fact that Stanford's their rival, and the whole Bay Area. You just think their fans are kind of weak. Yep. Cal actually has good fans, in my opinion. Like
I'm kind of guilty of that. With my East Coast bias, I'm certainly guilty. I was like, Cal fans are really jumping all over this post here. So I was impressed.
They care more, man. I from bartending here in LA. No one ever came in and said, "Could you put the Stanford game on?" Cal fans, there's some Cal fans that actually care. So like, even UCLA, you wouldn't really get that. USC and Cal, you would get that when I bartended. People would come in and say, "Can you put the Cal game on?" Which, for whatever reason, you wouldn't really get that occasionally with UCLA. But I feel like you would get more Cal than UCLA, and then never Stanford. No, I don't think that's ever happened. Can you put the Stanford game? I don't think it's ever happened in a bar in America.
I will say, me and Ryan just took a couple interesting people. Malik Benson, Ryan took one of the receivers from Florida State. We were talking before the draft started. Their receiver room is so young. He's probably the most experienced. So if he can fill the role of Keon Coleman or Johnny Wilson, I think it's a good pick at this point.
Yeah. This late 13th round.
I think there's a lot of question marks in that receiver room, but I mean, I would tend to think he would be the one that would be the guy getting all the targets.
A pick I just did was Jadarian Price, the Notre Dame running back. I know Jeremiah Love is also in the mix to get carries, but they're actually playing him at receiver some. So my hunch, and it's just strictly a gut hunch, is that Price is going to be the lead back for the Irish. And if so, he could put up some big numbers.
Well, and they're going to be up by so much.
Yeah.
So,
Nick, we have the same roster makeup right now. 3-4-5-1.
You guys want
I'm 3-5-4-1.
Sorry, 3-5-4-1. 4 wide receivers, 5 running backs, 3 quarterbacks, and a cat with Colby.
Yes, we got our mascot here. All right. This is Little Man. Little Man's a hell of a good guy.
Yeah, you know what? I love my running backs, but my receivers are a little weak here. I got to bolster that before the end of this draft here. As I pour myself another Jameson.
Oh, there we go.
I got one I like coming up here. Hopefully he don't get of course he gets taken. I was going to take Velling over at Michigan State coming over from
Oh, I like it. I like it. Yeah.
I didn't get him. So whoever got that, good job.
I think there's a lot of tight ends I like this year. I think it's a pretty deep at the position, actually.
I think a lot of people are looking at the tight end room. I might take a stab on this guy if I'm up. When am I up? Oh, I'm still 4 picks away. Are you after me? I'm looking at Notre Dame. Always has a good tight end. I'm looking at Mitchell Evans.
He's a beast. Colby loves him. Colby stole him from me in our season-long draft.
Well, that's the thing. Wide receivers are great for Notre Dame. Well, their tight ends are all great, and they've always been great since fucking Mark Bavaro and Derek Brown.
What game was? I think it was a Duke game last year where he had like 8 for 140 and a touchdown or something. The guy's a beast.
Yeah, he is a fucking beast. Late. And I think that's going to be his main target. What's his name? The Duke QB. Why am I?
Leonard.
Yeah.
Hey, how healthy is he, by the way? I know he
should be good. I mean, it was a high ankle sprain. So I mean,
I know he had surgery though, like in the spring. So like, but I think he'll be fine. But you got to wonder that with the left tackle being out for the year, though.
True. I know, and his former coach being the D coordinator for A&M Week 1.
Eric McAllister, Colby, TCU. I mean, the guy, the Boise transfer. I liked him at Boise a lot. I mean, he was.
Oh, I think he's going to be their number 1 there.
Yeah. I mean, Boise was not a good passing team last year, and he was still putting up good numbers.
Yeah, I know they have John Paul Richardson, and they have another wideout that did all right, but I think he's their top guy coming into the season.
Alar's still on the board around 15.
We are nearing the end here.
You want me to build a case on why you should take him though? Is he was a high recruit and they hired Kansas's offensive coordinator. Now Kansas's offensive coordinator traditionally runs, but I just think he will scheme up shit for wide open guys. That's one thing you watch Kansas football. Like Lance Leipold will get guys like 20 yards wide open. So if he's anything like Leipold, you don't need to be that good of a quarterback to throw that pass.
I think
Franklin will run up the score too.
Yeah,
we've seen that.
That's true.
We've seen that he has a keen eye on the spread. But I think at this point it's a good pick, and I might scoop him up if he comes around to me because I do still need a couple more quarterbacks. He's got a rocket for an arm.
He does. Who we got at the quarterback? We got Will Rogers. We got Morden. Yeah. Graham Mertz, a name from the past. Alan Bowman.
Got Van Dymes in there still.
Van Dymes.
I mean, I think Mertz will probably put up decent numbers.
Roark has another year.
He's coming.
Yeah, he's at Indiana now.
Yeah.
You got who's my guy? Malik Murphy, Honda McCord.
Oh, I like the McCord one. I like
Syracuse's schedule is pretty easy.
Yeah, and I think that they have weapons, man. What's the Colorado State transfer wide out? Aronde Gadsden Jr. The other tight end is solid too, and then they added 2 Georgia wideouts that we haven't really seen, but I think that's a really good play.
I'll roll the dice with Drew Alar.
I'm gonna jet out of here.
How healthy is Roark at Indiana?
That's you talking Rourke? Yeah. He I think he's going to start the season. I think he's I think that's why they
at Ohio. I'll take him.
Yeah.
I'll take a flyer on him.
That schedule's nice too, man. If you're playing the schedule angle.
It's almost like the Big Ten's kind of soft at the bottom half.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go on your journey. I don't have the screen here. I appreciate you guys doing this. Appreciate you people tuning in, and let's go.
All right, we'll bring it home for you.
Yeah.
All right. I'd kick all your asses if I got in that draft. Just know that. All right. And yeah, appreciate you guys.
Very humble of you on your way out.
You Sam, you keep taking pussy pack players. You're going nowhere. All right. Take care, fellas. Appreciate you.
All right, man. See ya.
See ya. Hey, not to take a jab at Pitt. Oh, I always take jabs at Pitt. Have you seen a Pitt player come off the board? Do they play offense? I started thinking about that. I'm like, where's the running back?
Yeah, I mean, they have a couple decent running backs, but no, I haven't seen one yet. Hammond and who's the other Pitt running back? Yeah, but right now, I mean, there's no quarterback to speak of. I don't know if I can even name a receiver right now. So yeah, Pitt is lacking at the skill position, guys.
It's almost like they got rid of their offensive coordinator after they won the ACC.
Now they did just hire a new coordinator. I forget where he's coming from now.
What's his name? They needed to, because that offense last year was a joke.
Stagnant as shit, definitely. Yeah, but you're not going to see a whole lot of Pitt guys going off in these drafts, that's for sure. So now we've just started round 16. How long has this podcast been going? Okay, hour 10 minutes.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Probably got another 20 minutes or so. What's your biggest position of need? What do you think?
Where's my roster? So I got 5 running backs, 4 QBs, 4 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. I'm pretty balanced like you. I think my wide receivers are a little thin. I'm not gonna lie, because I bolstered up on the quarterback and running backs. But I mean, those are the most sure things. You give them the ball and they make a play. Wide receiver, you got to rely on your quarterback.
Yep. Yeah, I still need one more tight end too. I got a sleeper at tight end. I'm pretty sure you're not going to go after him since you already have 2. Do you know Jalen Conyers?
I've heard the name. Yeah,
Arizona State transfer at Texas Tech. And what I'm hearing is that offensive coordinator, that head coach, they want to get him involved in this offense like in multiple ways. And he's way down on the tight end list here, I think, but he's going to be my second tight end if I can grab him.
Well, I'll take the other Georgia tight end.
You know what? I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to grab him now because there's only 6 tight ends in front of him. I want to take Conyers here now. Boom.
There you go. I took Dorsey from Georgia, who you were talking. He thought was going to be more involved. So
yeah.
Can't go wrong with the Georgia boy.
You know, now's a good time to make sure they don't have the same bye weeks. That's the other thing too, is that Underdog doesn't show bye weeks, so it's good to have like a matrix of all the bye weeks up, especially for the positions where you only have like 2 guys or something. Like I don't think it's that big of a deal when you got 6 guys, because chances are you're going to have some of them available that week.
Yeah,
but, I have a SMU and a Texas Tech tight end. Sure, we're okay here. All right. SMU has a week 7 bye. Texas Tech does not. SMU has a week 14 bye. Texas Tech does not. I'm in the clear there. You got that up, or you want me to look for you real quick?
I was looking it up individual.
Okay.
Wise. I think I'm pretty good on bye weeks for the most part. Make sure Klubnik doesn't have the same bye week as what's his name, Garrett Green.
In the NFL, it makes it nice and easy because they have bye weeks listed under the players. They don't have that here for college.
It's kind of what we talked about though. This is new. They're still working out the kinks,
right?
But yeah, this has definitely been fun. I'm glad that Underdog was able to hook this up, man. There's just so many different ways.
It's such a great platform. It's the drafts, like the layout, the app is fantastic. I can't say enough good things about Underdog.
It's idiot proof for guys like us. Oh man, we're
right. What are we looking at here? I got a few receivers I've put in my queue that I'm high on. I still probably need at least one more quarterback.
Where we
It's getting pretty thin now, isn't it?
It is, man. The quarterback position is thin. I mean, when you got guys like Graham Mertz out there.
I mean, you think about like basically almost every P4 quarterback's going to get drafted. All right, I'm going to grab a guy here.
Dookie, right? You got to take Murphy. I mean,
I'm gonna take him. Not right now. We got one guy before. I'm gonna grab that's called the pussy pack. I'll take the Noah Rogers, the Ohio State transfer I was talking about earlier. Like I said, living here locally, I'm hearing big things, from him in fall camp.
How about Archie Manning being down there? Let's take. I got to make a pick. You can't. I took his quarterback. I'm going to take him now. I'm going to take Lawrence Arnold from the Jayhawks. So there you go.
Rock solid. He's been around for a few years.
I have a good quarterback throwing to him. So.
Oh, that's right. You got the Kansas stack. Hey, that offense should go. If they stay healthy, that offense should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. That's where I would say the Big 12 has the biggest strength is how good the coaching is in the Big 12. Leipold, now you got Willie Fritz, you got Kleiman, you got Whittingham coming over, you got Gundy. I mean, the coaching, just solid coaching in that league is
for sure.
I think why that they've just been solid. So
kind of matches what they do in basketball. Very good coaches there too.
Yeah. Coaching and home atmospheres. That's the Big 12 in a nutshell. Malzahn's an underrated guy. He's playing the national championship.
Yeah.
Shit, he beat Saban more than anybody. Don't tell the
He's an interesting coach. He's a guy where
great as a dog.
Yeah, exactly. But not always to be trusted. His offense is. I mean, usually his offense, rolls and puts up points and yardage, but sometimes they just come to a grinding halt because it's a little, I don't know. Colby says gimmicky. I don't know if gimmicky is the right word, but it's definitely finesse. Maybe at times a little too finesse.
You're trashing half of your roster right now.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, right. And let me tell you about how
you load up on all the UCF stacks.
And let me tell you about SMU, who last year they had in the regular season they played 2 Power 4 opponents, and this year they're going to play 10 Power 4 opponents. And I drafted a couple of those guys too.
How do you think they translate?
Funny enough, we were mentioning these 2 teams. I think this year they're going to be similar to UCF last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're gonna. Some people are saying they could, contend for the ACC title or something. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think that the weekend grind of a major conference is gonna have some effect on them. So I think they're gonna be fine. I think they'll be like 6-6, 7-5. I think they're gonna be kind of like UCF last year because they are talented and they do have a very bright future. Both programs do. So, but I am squarely on the under with SMU this year. I think it's at 8 right now.
I tend to agree with you. I mean, you look at all the Big 12. I mean, the Big 12 wasn't even that strong in football last year from a top heavy standpoint, but those newcomers completely wore out. BYU, Cincinnati, Houston. It just takes a couple classes with the level of physicality in the trenches.
For sure. I mean, and if you look at SMU's schedule in the watered down AAC last year because Houston and UCF and Cincinnati already left. I mean, they were playing Tulsa and Temple and North Texas and Navy. They had a very easy schedule last year.
Who's the team that Colby? Oh, Vegas. UNLV had the good schedule at the G5 last year too.
In the Mountain West for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year too. I'm drawing a blank on the coach. He's a guy that came over from Missouri. I forget his name.
Odom, right? Odom.
Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. What if that was like a flash in the pan, or if UNLV can find some sustained success? I'm not sure. I'm on the fence right now.
Have you decided? I know that we're talking only Power 4 tonight. Do you have an early lean on who you like to get that G5 automatic qualifier spot?
It's going to be very interesting because the Mountain West is definitely the best G5 conference, and the winner of that probably should go. But then you got Liberty out there, or so, some team like that, Jacksonville State maybe, like in the Conference USA. Yeah, or maybe even like Toledo in the MAC, where they could go like 11-1 or shit, maybe even 12-0. Liberty went 12-0 last year, so it'll be interesting how they value the stronger G5 conferences compared to the weaker ones. But I mean, Boise's always in the mix, right?
What about your Mountaineers? App State. I think they're going to be pretty good this year.
They should be. I'm still the coach there, Sean Clark. I mean, he gets up for the big games, but there are lapses of concentration, and they lose games under him they shouldn't. So I think App State is probably like in that like 9-3 range this year, which probably doesn't have them probably right outside that having a chance to get to the playoffs.
It's one of the biggest interesting things, development in the football season this year, college football, is who's gonna emerge from that G5. So
that's what's going to make it so fun to watch, because there's so many teams in the mix. I mean, we could be watching Maxing Tuesday or some Thursday games. I mean, it's going to be just so much fun.
Yep. I mean,
all right, where are we at in the draft here? I just took a couple. So I did take Malik Murphy as my 5th quarterback.
Yeah,
I went ahead and took
an SMU guy.
Did you?
Yeah.
Who'd you grab? Knighton? Okay.
Yeah, the running back. So a little Pony Express action.
He's the Miami transfer who came over along with Rhett Lashley, the head coach. The thing about them at running back and receivers, there's so many guys, and they spread the ball around so much. But if there's any format where you want to play one of those guys, it's best ball, where you don't have to worry about starting him in the right or wrong spot. So Knighton's going to have some big games, this year. So this late in the draft, why not?
Yep. Are we?
Right.
I think we're in the final round, aren't we?
We are in the 20th round. I had 7 receivers. So I'm down to either 5 running backs or 5 quarterbacks. Who do I want more? I think I should probably take one more quarterback.
I'm 4-6-6-3 right now. So I'm going to take a quarterback. Did you end up taking Malik Murphy?
I did. I took Murphy. Yeah, he was my 5th quarterback taken a couple rounds ago. I should probably take one more guy. I mean, Van Dynes is still there. McCord's still there.
I thought about Van Dyke. I mean, I know they want to throw the ball at Wisconsin a little more than we like, but Diego Pisson-Pavier, baby.
You know what? I've been taking him in a lot of drafts really late. I mean, does Vanderbilt suck? Yes, but he's a dual threat guy. He's going to get you some rushing touchdowns.
Dude, I think I might take him. He's going to compete. He's going to compete late.
Oh yeah, I like him, man. He's a hell of a player.
What I know Pat likes this kid. What about Calandria from Virginia?
I like him too. Yeah, he was a kind of like a true freshman gunslinger last year who, I mean, he threw way too many interceptions, but he competed. So I like what I saw from Calandria, but they still have Tony Muskett there too. So I think Calandria is going to have the job, but at this point, you kind of want to take guys who are going to have the job.
They've been bad so long in that program since Mendenhall left.
Right. And I don't know if Tony Elliott's the right guy for the job.
No. All righty, where are we at? We have pick 233.
We burned through them.
Yeah. Your pick 235. Come on, take us home, WSG dog. Oh, he took my guy Hudson Clement,
the Great White Hope.
You bastard! I'm taking our guy Pavier.
There you go.
What do I have to lose? He might put up a couple monster games at Vanderbilt when they're behind.
I remember last year, West Virginia played an FCS team. I forget which one.
Duquesne. Clement had like 400 yards.
Yeah, and I remember sending you a Twitter message like who the hell is this guy? I've never heard of him before. But especially with some of the receivers that West Virginia lost. I mean, he could be in store for a lot more snaps, a lot more targets.
Yeah.
I'll listen to Colby and go Kyle McCord here. Oh shit! I was too slow. I was too slow. I was busy talking. They took Vandergrift for Kentucky.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have taken him. Kentucky's at passing. I mean, ever since Will Levis left, they haven't done much through the air. But
they didn't even do much with Will Levis.
Right? Well, I guess it is what it is. Yeah. We're in the home stretch. 4 picks to go.
or picks to go. Shout out to the chat, Rob. Appreciate you sticking this out all 90 minutes.
Next time, Rob, why don't you drive over to Nebraska or your nearest state where you can join the draft with us?
Absolutely. Let me hit the ad break. Because as we're waiting for this draft to conclude, because we at the College Football Experience are brought to you by Rhythm. College football is here. You're going to want your model. Get your model downloaded. Get it ready to go. College football is here. NFL's here. Best time of year, baby. I love the Rhythm model. So get on over there. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM today. And we're also brought to you by Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Well, if you don't have your trip book out to Vegas, what the hell are you doing? Ultimate Contest Weekend is here. August 22nd through 24th, rapidly approaching, the greatest sports book in the world. Go check out Ryan and Sean over there and use the promo code SGP15 to get 15% off your hotel room for the sign-up weekend. Or you could participate in the proxy. You don't want to miss out on a potential $10 million. So sign up today with the proxy.footballcontest.com to save you $50 with the promo code SGP. Alrighty, the draft is complete for our first ever Best Ball Live Mania. Thoughts going away, Nick? I guess we could share our rosters. That's what we could do.
Yeah, sure. All right, at quarterbacks, I got KJ Jefferson, Preston Stone, Ashton Daniels, Drew Alar, Malik Murphy, and Brock Vandegrift. In general, I don't love it. I think it's an average group of quarterbacks. Who's your quarterbacks?
I got Garrett Green, Jalen Daniels, Cade Klubnik, Curtis Roark, and our guy Diego Pisson-Pavier. I like my quarterback room. I like Green.
Only 5?
Yeah, I got 5.
Okay. Well, I would say, I mean, I do like having a 6, but I think your quarterbacks are better than mine. I will extend that to you. Running backs, I only have 5. I went Omarion Hampton for UNC, RJ Harvey, Kyle Monangai, Jordan Waters, and Jadarian Price.
And I went Donovan Edwards from Michigan, Quinshon Judkins from the Ohio State.
Michigan versus Ohio State.
I know. And I got Alabama, Justice Haynes, Corey Kinner from Cincinnati, who I like, LJ Martin from BYU, and Jalen Knighton from SMU. I like top heavy on the backfield here.
Yeah, I kind of like my guys. I mean, I only had 5 of them, but I like all 5 of them. Yeah, I'm okay with what I did there. Receiver, I got 7 guys real quick. Kyron Lacey, Kobe Hudson, Chris Bell, Elijah Surratt, Eric McAllister, Noah Rogers, and Ja'Cory Brooks. Again, I'm not in love with it. I'm not in love with my whole team, to be honest with you. I think I've drafted better ones this year. Who are your receivers?
I got Jaden Higgins from Iowa State, Rashad Owens from Oklahoma State, Will Shepard from Colorado. I just got all the Big 12 guys. Lawrence Arnold from Kansas, Jace Brown from K-State, and then I did sprinkle in an ACC guy, Malik Benson, who we talked about could pop. So hopefully they're throwing the ball all over the yard in the Big 12.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I think that's your weakest position. I liked your quarterbacks and running backs. Tight ends, I got RJ Maryland and Jalen Conyers. I'd say solid, but not spectacular.
Okay. Yeah.
And who do you have? You have Mitchell Evans from Notre Dame, and who else?
Mitchell Evans, and I got Luke Lachey from Iowa, and Ben Urasek from Georgia. So
okay,
I got three big white bodies to catch the ball.
I actually like your tight ends better than mine too. So I would say that's a good first draft for you. And what's your projected? Mine's 3,400.
I'm 3,300, 3,390 or whatever. So
yeah, it's funny because that number means nothing. If anything, like especially with like some of like in the previous years with my NFL ones, I feel like if it's projected lower, I do better, and if it's higher, I do worse.
Well, hopefully I win 50K or you win 50K. One of us walk away with that big prize.
I could use the money.
Yeah, me too. Throw it on black. So,
all right. Well, it was fun. And yeah, I think we're going to try to do it. Maybe we'll try to do it one more time before the season starts. But hopefully it wasn't too painful getting through this.
Yeah. Hopefully this picks up and we can just hop on here and actually do a draft rather than hope and pray that somebody hops in. So, go check out all the platforms, the college football experience, all 134 team previews. We only got about 30, 40 left. So go check out Colby, NC Nick over there, Patty C. They're breaking it all down. Week 0 is approaching. College basketball experience. We're doing coaching interviews right now in the off season. We had John Pelfrey on from Tennessee Tech today. We've done so many, I forgot who we had on, and Josh Leffler coming over from Loyola, Maryland.
Where was Pelfrey at before? Where do I know Pelfrey from? Is he at Kentucky?
Arkansas. He played in Kentucky. He played in Kentucky.
Okay.
And then he was at South Alabama. So
nice.
College basketball 3 months away. Hard to believe. It's 90 days.
Let's do it. You know I'm getting high on my Blue Devils.
I know. Hey, me and the Duke fans, we got a special relationship from last year. So go check out the FCS experience as well. I don't think I'm missing anything. Oh, Big 12 experience. Go check out the Big 12 with me, Rush and Troy. Other than that, I think I got everything. Nick, any last thoughts?
No, let's do it, man. What we got? 3 weeks to college football, 2.5 weeks or something. It's crazy. It's really coming up on us here quickly.
Yes, it is. And we'll get Colby on too next time so that we get him in the draft so we can have a full room. So
maybe even Noah B.
Yeah, he loves some underdog best ball. So he's moving his sister in. The LeBaron is still riding high, baby. So,
I'm not sure how many boxes you can fit in the LeBaron, but I guess he's helping out.
If it's Noah Beanick, he's going to find a way to maximize the storage unit. So, all right, guys, appreciate you rocking with us. This is the college football experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we are out of here.